Hi, boys and girls. Are you ready to move on? I hope so, because we're on to improper fractions and mixed numbers. We've been talking about fractions like 3/5, and we talked about 1/2. We've talked about fractions like 12/17. But there are other math values related to fractions, such as improper fractions and mixed numbers. So let's explain what each one of those is. A mixed number includes a whole number plus a fraction. So if you have something like 1 and 1/2, you have your whole number there, and then you also have part of that whole, which is a half, or part of another whole. That would be considered a mixed number. An improper fraction just means the improper part of the fraction just means that the numerator is larger than your denominator. And so a fraction would look like maybe 11/7. You notice how your numerator is larger than your denominator, and that would be your improper fraction. Okay, so let's think about how we use mixed numbers in society. So let's say, for instance, you go home and your mom wants to make cookies, and you want to help her make cookies. And the recipe calls for 2½ cups of flour. Now, the whole cup is in the dishwasher. It's dirty. You don't want to clean it. But the 1/2 cup is actually clean. So you want to think to yourself, how many halves or half cups do I have in this whole entire number? And you can look at that and create an improper fraction from this mixed number. All right, so improper fractions and mixed numbers are related. You can switch them back and forth. And when you get more into fractions, using fractions maybe in middle school and high school, you're going to find out that you're going to need to take mixed numbers and turn them into an improper fraction, do your math, and then convert it back. But for right now, we're just going to learn how to switch in between the two. All right, so let's take 2½ and let's look at that and say, well, if I had to cut it up into halves, how many total halves would I have in this whole entire thing? So let's do 2 circles, cut them in half. So there's 1/2 and 1/2, 1/2 and 1/2. So those two would then represent my whole number. And then I have one more half, so there's my one more half. Okay, so in order to take this mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction, you want to ask yourself, how many halves do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be your new numerator. And since you're working with halves in the first place, that 2 then stays the same to represent the half part. So 5/2 would be the improper fraction for this mixed number. All right, so that's the picture way of looking at improper fractions and mixed numbers. Let's go ahead and use the equations form. So let's go back to our 2½. Now remember, we actually knew that it was 5/2 was the improper fraction. So when we do it the equation way, let's actually make sure we compare it so that we get the same answer. All right, when you are doing mixed numbers and you're turning them into improper fractions, what you want to do is you want to do the denominator times the whole number plus the numerator. All right, so let's try that. So 2 times 2, then I would take that answer and plus 1. So 2 times 2 plus 1 equals 5. And then remember, whenever you're dealing with this, the denominator always stays the same. So you take that back and put that back in there. So then I would take my new numerator and my denominator, and you notice we've got the same thing. So we use the picture form, got that answer, and then of course with our equation, denominator times the whole number plus the numerator got us the same improper fraction. All right, so let's go ahead and go, let's say for instance we have the improper fraction and we want to turn it into a mixed number. That equation is you take your denominator and divide it into the numerator. All right, so let's actually do that where we have a little bit more space. Let's erase this. And so we have 2 divided into 5. All right, so then I want to proceed to do that easy division. I'll get 2 sets of that out of 5. So 2 times 2 is 4. with 1 left over. Do I have any more to bring down? No, I don't. So that 1 then turns into the remainder. Okay. Your whole quotient here, the quotient here is going to be the whole number. So that turns into the 2. Your remainder becomes your numerator. And then the denominator stays the same. So then we have 2 1/2, which was our original mixed number in the first place. Okay, so hopefully the picture way showed you how mixed numbers and improper fractions are related, and hopefully you will be able to use the equations that I've done here for being able to then take mixed numbers and convert them to improper fractions, and improper fractions converted to mixed numbers. Thanks.